we welcome you into the Pride pregame show on the Greensboro College Sports Network. We get you set for another edition of Greensboro College Volleyball. Kendrick Fruit, Stephen Weidenhouse here with you. And Stephen, last time that we saw our Greensboro College volleyball team, they set the program record for most consecutive victories with 14, breaking the record of 13 set back in 2005. Now, if you talk to the players, you talk to the coaches, they'll all tell you that's all well and good, but we're just focused on the task at hand, which is great. But you know what? Part of our job is paying attention to records, so let's talk about how important that is.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, to break a program record like a winning streak is always something to be celebrated. But you're right, Kendrick. I mean, it's great, and hopefully we continue to break our own record. But I think we've talked about, throughout this year, there's one goal in mind. And I think it's probably something that they'll celebrate after the season's over. More. Obviously, they celebrate it a little bit now, but that one goal is obviously the conference championship. And so, the win streak is great, and hopefully it continues today. But, I think, like you said, the team is really still focused on that conference title. And Kendrick, it's crazy, but, this season is starting to creep up. The end of the season is creeping up on us. Just a couple weeks left, so it should be interesting. But the win streak is great. But like you said, I think this team is really focused on that one goal.
Last side note, before we talk about that a little bit, they're currently in the 5th longest winning streak in Division III volleyball and the 10th longest streak in all levels of NCAA volleyball right now. So that is pretty impressive. You talk about the end goal and how short this team came to achieving that goal last year. And obviously with such a senior-heavy roster this year, that weighs very much on their minds coming into 2025. We can tell you based on the numbers and however you want to slice it, they've already clinched a top 4 spot in the postseason. So the worst they can do is 4th at this point. Obviously, to finish 4th now would be a disappointment because you have a 2-game lead over Salem. But you kind of at the part of the year now where you're starting to get a feel for where you're going to be in the postseason.
Yeah, it's that time of year where you're looking at the standings after every single game. You're trying to figure out where the seeding might be. You're looking ahead at some other games in the next couple of weeks, kind of predicting who's going to win, who's going to lose. And so it's a really fun time, especially for us. We get to and fans, you get to start looking at your scoreboard watching, your schedule watching, your standings watching. And again, we'll before you know it, we'll be at the conference tournament here in a couple of weeks. So they've locked up at the very least a first round home game, which is great. But obviously they have more that they want to accomplish. So these next couple of weeks should be fun.
Absolutely. And if you're wondering how they were able to lock that up, they could finish tied in 4th with 2 other teams. However, they've already swept both of those teams this year. So tiebreaker pretty well in hand, and nobody below them can catch them at this point. So it's a good spot to be in if you're Greensboro College. Now, we look at Brevard today. Stephen, you were inside for the tri-match this past week. I was outside at women's soccer. So give us a quick rundown. What did we see in the 2 matches on Friday or on Saturday?
Yeah, no, I think it was very interesting, actually, the first set against Pfeiffer in the first game. We got out to a 6-0 lead, and so it was kind of like, wow, this is, maybe this is going to be a breeze. Well, it wasn't. Pfeiffer came back and took a lead late into the set, but Peyton Shiflett kind of took over at the end of that first set, and that kind of took the air out of Pfeiffer because they played really well. They played really hard, but once Greensboro took that first set, they kind of sailed the rest of the way. They played really well. Peyton had a great game. Taylor Cody, Morgan Mayfield. I mean, the normal cast of characters, right? So that first set was definitely the most competitive set, I think, of the day. And you got to give Pfeiffer credit; they played really hard, and they did some things that maybe Greensboro wasn't expecting. So it was a hard fought first set win, and then the Randolph game, Greensboro, they took care of business. Peyton Shiflett had another big game. Audrey Allen came in. She had a nice game as well, the freshman middle blocker. So it was a nice sweep, and they've done well in tri-matches this year, especially at home. But it was outside of the first set against Pfeiffer, it was a nice, I want to say easy because I don't know if any game is necessarily easy, but it was a clean sweep, nice win, played well. Maybe some things to clean up from that first set against Pfeiffer, but other than that, they look good.
Speaking of clean sweeps, Greensboro did that to Brevard earlier this year, and we look at today's game, and you kind of think second time through, if you will, maybe you have a chance to look back at the tape of the first one, make some adjustments. And while, Pfeiffer did play us tight in that game, and Methodist played us really tough on the road when we were on the road last week, but still, for the most part, Greensboro College, second time through the schedule, not having a ton of trouble.
Yeah, and you hope that continues, right? Because, after that first game, not only do you have the scouting report from the whole season, but you also have, how the opposing team attacked you in that first game. So the second game, of a season, when you put two teams together, it usually is more competitive because even, the team that lost is going to learn how to attack that team that they lost to. And so the challenge for the team that won that first game is, how do we do what we just did, that first game? But you're still going to have to make adjustments because Brevard's going to make adjustments from that first game. So it's always interesting, and it certainly really not only comes down to players, but also coaches as well. The coaches have to help make those adjustments from the first game and try to win this second game today. So as we always say, the opposing team's going to come off the bus ready to go. So hopefully Greensboro will come out in the first set, play well, set the tone, and hopefully get a win.
Absolutely. Getting ready to take on Brevard here in just a little bit. We'll hear from Coach Bozarth and get you about ready to go. I mean, what else is there to say? I feel like we kind of say the same things every week. Yeah, it's the same cast of characters. But I tell you what, though, I guess the one thing I'll throw in before we send it off to Coach Bo, one of the things for me recently, with some of the success this team has had, the ability to shift people in and out of the lineup. You mentioned Anjali Allen getting a lot of good playing time. Cantley McCown has seen her playing time go up recently. Larkin Baxley's had some good moments. Carefoot made the start against Randolph and made an impact in that game too. So just good to see some people who maybe aren't necessarily in the middle of the spotlight all the time get their opportunities, but also it kind of helps you in the long run. You kind of say, hey, we get into a pinch with an injury later, or in a long set. Because think about it, Greensboro's only gone to 5 sets once this year. So, if you need to spell somebody, you kind of know what you got on the bench now.
Yeah, and it gives you a chance potentially if you are up, by a decent amount, you get to rest some players that normally play. And so late in the year, that's really important to get, players off their feet, even for just a few points. It can make a difference down the road. So, it was great to see. We've seen matches like that recently where Greensboro's been able to show the depth. They've been able to get some other players playing time. So it's been good to see, the whole team contributing.
Absolutely. All right, we'll go ahead and get you our thoughts with head coach Dan Bozarth and get you ready for today's game. It's the Tornadoes, it's the Pride, and it's coming up on the Greensboro College Sports Network. Pride pregame show continuing. I'm joined now by head coach Dan Bozarth. And coach, last time we saw your girls in action, setting the program record for longest winning streak in program history with 14 straight wins. Right. And obviously we hope to see that streak just get bigger and bigger. And I know you guys are thinking big picture and not thinking a whole lot about making history, but that doesn't change the fact that you did it.
Yeah, it's definitely something that's exciting for us. We didn't even know that was a record as we were going through the games here. And our goal is just each game, day by day, just to get those wins and keep stacking them up and keep trying to hold that lead in the USA South.
Talk to us a little bit about Saturday. You swept your conference match and your non-conference match. Right. Thoughts on how Saturday went?
Yeah, Pfeiffer just presents a big challenge for us in terms of their blocking and something we talked about going into it. Our passing wasn't great to start, which allowed them to get, I think, 8 blocks in the first set. But as our passing got better throughout that game, I thought we played better and better. We were able to get some one-on-ones with our blockers, and we were just more successful as the day went on. And then just trying to keep our intensity up, playing against a solid Randolph team, and I thought we were able to do that. We were also able to play a few of our other players that don't normally play in our normal rotation, so that was good to see them be effective in the lineup.
Coach, I'm allowing myself to be vulnerable here. If I'm wrong, please correct me here.
Yeah.
I was doing some math earlier today, which is a scary thought right. of its own. Yeah. But by my math, you guys have clinched at least a 4th place finish in the regular season. You finished tied for 4th, but you've already swept that team that you could be tied with. So by my math, you've already clinched at least a first-round host in the USA South tournament. But obviously, you guys want more than that, sitting 2 games clear of second place Salem right now. Talk a little bit about the mindset here as you guys reach the end of the season.
Yeah, I love that you're doing that math already. I've not looked that deeply into it, but like I said, we're just taking it day by day. We know every game in the USA South is a challenge, and we have some big ones coming up. So just there's a few that are circled on our calendar that we know are going to be very impactful to those conference standings. And And we've talked a lot about, as a team, how important it is to play in Haynes Gym, and it's such a great environment to play in, probably the best, I think, in our conference in terms of how loud the crowd can get in the gym. So we want that home environment for our girls and for our team and for the community here at Greensboro College.
You know, that's interesting that you mentioned that. It's like you knew that was where I was going with my next question. You made a comment in our staff meeting yesterday about just how much you guys have enjoyed playing there and how difficult it is for an opposing team. Tell me about what does that environment, what kind of challenges does that present to an opposing team?
Yeah, I think when the crowd's here and it's going, you know, it's so loud in the gym, and I haven't experienced that anywhere else in the conference so far. And it's just a great motivator for our girls to know that they can have that environment for the conference tournament and have that throughout. And the other teams here at Greensboro College have been so supportive of the volleyball program and coming out and cheering us on, and we're really appreciative of it, and hopefully we can keep that going.
Nearing the end of the season, do you guys have to have any conversations as far as fatigue? Do you rest people? Do you start people, keep them fresh for the postseason? How does that work this time of year?
Yeah, it's something Coach Page and I have talked a lot about. It's something we've actually talked about with the girls and really pushing them to go out every single match and push leads and get us ahead so we can start, you know, actually we do talk about resting players as much as possible to keep them fresh. It's a grind here in the USA South every game, so if we have the opportunity to do that, it's good for us.
Last question here, Coach. I'll kind of roll two into one here. Tell us about this team that we're going to see tonight and keys to the game.
Yeah, I think for us, Brevard obviously presents some unique challenges. They have a couple of middles that can actually score a lot. Their outsides are not extremely tall, but they're super athletic, and they do some really good things. So for us, it always comes down to serve and serve receive. Can we pass the ball well? Can we get the ball up to our hitters? If we can do that, I think we'll compete well, but definitely Brevard is a challenge that we have to look out for.
Thanks, Coach. Best of luck tonight.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
More on the Pride pregame show next.
And we welcome you into Haynes Gym here on the campus of Greensboro College as we're getting you set for USA South Volleyball. Greensboro College and Brevard College here on this Wednesday evening. Hello, everyone. Kendrick Fruits here with you as we continue to get you set on the Pride pregame show. We kind of turn it over from our pre-recorded content to the live content, and with that comes a scoreboard watch, because as we get down into the final couple of weeks of the regular season, everybody wants to know where they stand in the USA South standings. So for volleyball, Greensboro sits atop the conference right now, 12-0 in USA South play. Then you find Salem at 10-2, Southern Virginia 8-3, Meredith 8-4 in the number 4 spot. Remember, the top 4 teams will host in the opening round of the conference tournament. So then you've got Pfeiffer at 5-6, Methodist 5-6, Brevard 3-7, William Peace 2-7, and the last team currently in the tournament field, North Carolina Wesleyan 1-10 on the outside looking in. So too is Mary Baldwin, still winless in USA South competition. Quite a gap between the number 4 and number 5 spots of Meredith and Pfeiffer, already separated by 2.5 games there. As far as what's going on today, Mary Baldwin and William Peace already underway. That game in Raleigh started at 5 o'clock this evening. And in set number 3, William Peace looking for the sweep. They've taken the first 2, and they've got an early 12-5 lead in the third set. Still to come this afternoon is Meredith and Pfeiffer. One that we're watching is Salem and Southern Virginia. Greensboro certainly wouldn't mind if the Knights play spoiler in that one. Mary Baldwin and William Peace later tonight, the second straight match. A volleyball doubleheader there in Raleigh. Then North Carolina Wesleyan on the road at Methodist. That's beginning at 7 o'clock as well. We'll keep you updated on those as the afternoon goes on. Well, for Greensboro College, coming off of what has been a historic 14-game winning streak and looking to add to it today, longest winning streak in program history. And looking for number 15 here today. Last loss coming back on the 13th of September when they dropped both games in a tri-match against ODAC opponents Lynchburg and Bridgewater. Greensboro took on Brevard earlier this year, that coming back on the 24th of September. The Pride swept that one 3-0. And as we look at today's game, as far as kind of some keys for the Pride today, I think one of the big things we talked about, obviously you kind of got your big group, the ones that you expect to come out and have a big day. But I think in general, one of the big names or big stats that stands out to me is the difference in the hitting percentages of these two squads. Greensboro with a hit percentage of .246, which quite frankly has been up there all year, currently sitting second in the conference and 14th nationally, whereas Brevard's hitting percentage this year is sitting at just $133. So I think for Greensboro, one of the big things is trying to make the Tornadoes make mistakes and try to force them into some errors there on that end of things. For Greensboro, one of the other things I think too, you heard Coach Bozarth talk about it in the pregame show. He said, look, go ahead and build an early lead and we can start working on load management a little bit for some of these players, and you can, rest some of your reserves some opportunities. And I think for the Pride, that's a huge part of kind of where they're at in the season. Obviously, you don't take any opponent for granted. Big picture, the Pride already guaranteed at least a opening round host. Still some time to be determined as far as whether they're going to grab a top spot or not. But for right now, you've at least got the first round. And, I think for Greensboro, one of the big things is making sure that your top players are rested, they are healthy, and they are ready to go. Starting lineups being announced right now. We will give those to you here in just a little bit. We're getting set, though, for the national anthem, so we will hold off on sending those to you at this moment. But for Greensboro, I tell you, a lot of the regular cast of characters, and this is going to be a fun one today. Both of these teams have their superstars. We will see which stars shine the brightest here tonight. Time for the national anthem. We'll get this one going. We'll come back on the Greensboro College Sports Network. Time now to take a look at today's starting lineups. We'll start with the visiting Tornadoes from Brevard. It's going to feature a lineup of Emma Fontana, the sophomore Izzy Boulay, senior Lily White, sophomore Caroline Moon, seniors Mary Valentine and Jackson Tumeki for Brevard, with their two listed liberos being Nettie Stokes, the freshman, and senior Kylie Catcher. As for Greensboro, of course, Morgan Mayfield, the libero, no introduction needed there. The rest of your starting lineup: senior Kelsey Brooks, senior Jalen Templeton, senior Carla Del Castillo, sophomore Skylar Rokov, senior Grace Klingensmith, and senior Peyton Shiflett. As you can tell by that starting lineup, it is a very senior-heavy lineup for Greensboro College. Caroline Moon, the sophomore for Brevard, one of the big names we're watching today. 174 kills this year, leading the Tornadoes. Her 2.56 kills per set are a team high as well. Offense, though, the playmaking goes through Izzy Boulay. 505 assists already this year, good for a 6.56 assists per set ledger. So she'll be one to keep an eye on as well. Obviously for Greensboro, Peyton Shiflett putting together another incredible year. 4.84 kills per set, on pace for the second best single season mark in Greensboro College history. And Morgan Mayfield, 6.21 digs per set, right behind her single season record she set last year of 6.23. Obviously Morgan's got plenty of time to turn that one around, as Greensboro with about 8 matches left before the regular season comes to a conclusion. We are about ready to get this one underway. We are excited. Thanks again for joining us here this Wednesday night on the Greensboro College Sports Network. Again, I'm Kendrick Fruits here with you, and we are underway. Klingensmith sends it over, and a little too strong it is. A service error, and Brevard on the board to start this one. Kylie Catcher will send this one away for the Tornadoes. Sends it across to Mayfield. Templeton setting up Shiflett. Shiflett trying to push this one down the line. She scores. We're tied. Your score. We'll send it over to Jalen Templeton now. Templeton, high serve to the back, taken there by Boulay. Pushed over, Mayfield now to Shiflett, looking for another, a little too strong on that one. Hit there by White, and the attack blocked there by, looks like Del Castillo and maybe Shiflett there. It was the attack by Valentine turned aside, and Greensboro takes a 2-1 lead. Templeton again to serve. Sends it across to Catcher into the net. Hit there by Boulay, but nobody else was there to clean it up. 3-1 Greensboro now. Templeton this year with 22 aces. 15 in conference play. Sends this one across to Catcher. Attack here by Moon. Going down to get it, Mayfield. Shifley keeps it alive. It goes over to Fontana. Now Boulay. And a free ball sent over there by Catcher. Mayfield, Shifley pushing it into the middle. Good job by Boulay going down to get it. Pushed over now by White. To Brooks to Templeton. Attack Del Castillo. They keep it alive somehow, does Brevard, but only for 2 hits. And the second by Catcher falls into the court. 4-1 Pride. So after Brevard scored the opening point, 4 straight for Greensboro now. Templeton sends it across to Catcher, to Boulay, a hard over. Greensboro tries to keep it alive. Dive for Templeton, cannot get to it. Templeton now getting up slowly. It's 4-2. And a serve coming here for Madison Warren, the freshman from Florence, South Carolina. She sends it over to Mayfield. Templeton bumps it across to Shiflett. Shiflett's attack is blocked, kept alive, though, by the Pride. Second chance opportunity, finds the back corner. Peyton Shiflett. Perfect placement. I think she shocked herself with that one. And Greensboro extends their lead, now 5-2. It's back to a 3-point advantage. Grace Warren to serve. A low liner off of the right arm of Lily White and just continued on backwards. 6-2, Greensboro early with their largest lead of the contest. So an ace there for Young. Grace sends it across to White. To Warren, quick push over, nobody ready for it, and Greensboro's half of the court finds the middle, and it's 6-3. Caroline Moon to serve for the Tornadoes. Brevard coming off of a loss their last time out. That serve too strong, 7-3 Pride. Brevard swept by SVU back on the 17th. It was a tri-match with NC Wesleyan and SVU. They split with a victory coming against the Battling Bishops. Morgan Mayfield on the serve. Sends this one across, down to Catcher. Pushed ahead by Moon. And White will send it over. Mayfield, Templeton, Cody. Strong, far side. Point Greensboro. Cody on the kill, 8-3 Pride. The front line for Greensboro right now consisting of Rokov and Brooks and Cody. Mayfield ready to send it across again. She does now. Just catching the top of the net. And attacked by Fontana into the net. 9-3 Greensboro now. Three early assists for Templeton. 2 early digs for Mayfield. 2 early attacks for Shiflett. Mayfield again just catches the top of the net. This time just going over for an ace. 10-3 Greensboro, and it's caused an early Brevard timeout as the Pride go on a big early run, and we will step aside here. 10-3 Pride, set number 1 on the Greensboro College Sports Network. Back to the action here. Greensboro with a 10-3 advantage. Morgan Mayfield again on the serve. And she sends it across to White. And a quick push there. Greensboro was ready for it. Mayfield to Brooks. Brooks sends it across to Catcher. To Warren. There's the attack over from Brevard. Now to Templeton. Brooks setting up for another. Pushes it into the middle. White tried to get to it. Got a hand on it. But not able to keep it alive. Greensboro leads 11-3. This is the beginning of a busy homecoming weekend for the Pride. Obviously, tonight's match. We'll give you the rest of the schedule in a minute. Mayfield sends it over. Catcher to Moon. Now to White, sends over, blocked by Cody. And here comes another attack. This one coming off of McIntosh and off of a Greensboro fingertip, so 11-4. So again, homecoming week. Hall of Fame festivities on Friday night, then a busy sports slate on Saturday. Served by Fontana to Mayfield, who sends it straight into the stands, 11-5, 2 straight for Brevard. Both men's and women's soccer with an opportunity to clinch this weekend. Women's soccer against North Carolina Wesleyan at 11:30. Men's soccer against NC Wesleyan at 2. There's the serve just over the top of the net. Templeton sends it over to Rokov. Rokov pushes it in for a score. Maybe a fingertip by White or to Mickey there, but Skylar Rokov gives the Pride a 12-5 advantage. Then after that on Saturday, football with the first ever night game in the history of Pride Field. It'll be a 6 o'clock start against Brevard. Wrestling will have a scrimmage that day as well over at Reynolds. This one sent over, the attack by Lena to Mayfield. Templeton keeps it alive with one hand. Cody, the attack too strong, 12-6. And on Sunday, women's basketball with a scrimmage against Guilford Tech. So a busy weekend as we start to slowly see that transition or the crossover period, winter sports with their preseason beginnings this weekend. Boulay with the serve to Lily Burson, who's checked in. Now to Templeton. Cody, nice. Goes across court, near side boundary, 13-6 Pride. Shiflett checking in, Young checking back out now. It's early, but a .462 hitting percentage for the Pride. Brooks sends this one across to Catcher. There's the attack coming by Tumicki, too strong, 14-6 Greensboro. Brooks sends it across to Moon, to Boulay, and White just gets it over, partially blocked, and point Greensboro. Templeton got a hand on it. I want to say Cody did as well, 15-6. They ended up, Greensboro put the block on and have a 9-point advantage. Brooks sends it across again to catcher, to Boulay. Attack there, turned right back aside by Tumicki. And Greensboro sends it across again. That was Shiflett, and it's a 10-point advantage for the Pride. Brooks sends it across. The attack coming by Moon. And Brevard cuts it back to single digits, 16-7. 4 attack errors for the Tornadoes so far, just 1 for the Pride. White, the senior from Mount Airy, Maryland, on the serve, sends this one across to Brooks, to Shiflett. And Cody, a free ball over to catcher, to Boulay. Attack there by Tumicki. Greensboro setting up. Here comes Shiflett, pushing it in the middle. White dives, cannot get to it. 17-7 Pride. Klingensmith and Del Castillo checking in for Mayfield and Cody. Grace Klingensmith to serve. "23 aces for Grace this year. Looking for 24, there it is. 18-7 Pride now. A comfortable advantage in the opening set. Shiflett out, Cantley McCown in. Klingensmith sends it over. Catcher to Boulay. Attack there by Moon into the net, 19-7 Greensboro. Right now it's Del Castillo, Templeton, McCown, Burson, Brooks, and Klingensmith for the Pride. And another timeout taken here by Brevard as Greensboro continues their run, 19-7 here in the first on the Greensboro College Sports Network. Well, we mentioned we were keeping an eye on a couple other contests today. I think the big one, Salem and Southern Virginia. Salem trailing Greensboro by 2 in the standings. And right now, SVU with a 22-12 lead in the first set over Salem, so that could be a big deal as far as Greensboro trying to extend their lead in the USA South standings. Checking in for Greensboro now, Brecken Barr, as coming out is Kelsey Brooks. Klingensmith to serve here for the Pride. Grace sends it across, going down to get it. Catcher to Boulay. Push here by Moon. Greensboro not able to get to it, so a kill there for Moon. Makes it 19-8. Klingensmith out, Mayfield in for the Pride. Kylie Catcher on the serve, sends it across to Mayfield, to Templeton, to Del Castillo, who scores 20-8. And with that, we see more substitutions coming in. Carefoot and Baxley. Out is Templeton and Burson. Larkin Baxley on the serve, sends this across to catcher to Boulay. Here comes Moon on the attack. Blocked there by Carefoot and Del Castillo. It's a point Greensboro, 21-8. Baxley sends it across to White, to Boulay. Quick push there. I think Fontana mistimed her jump, went up to get it, then came down, and the ball came down right behind her. 22-8 the score. Also just a little bit of housekeeping there. That block that I thought was Del Castillo and Carefoot. They've actually given an attack error. Speaking of attacks, there's one by Fontana. Greensboro trying to keep it alive. McCown just sends it over now to catcher, to Boulay. Here comes Moon on the attack. Blocked there, Carefoot and Del Castillo, but they block it out of bounds, 22-9. Couple of substitutions coming for the Tornadoes, one of them being Elise McIntosh, the freshman. Also checking in Madison Warren, the freshman from Florence, South Carolina. She sends it across to Barr. She catches the far boundary. She looks surprised right now. Was just going down to bump it and ends up sending it over the net and scoring a point for the Pride, 23-9. Young and Brooks checking back in. Young sends it across too strong, 23-10. I think part of the surprise there for Brecken, that's just her second career kill. Not normally part of what they ask her to do here. That one just sent over by Brevard. Mayfield goes down to get it, sends it right back over. Here comes the attack. McIntosh too strong, 24-10. So Greensboro 1 point away from taking care of set number one. Mayfield to serve. She's got one ace today. Mayfield sends it across to White. And a quick dump there by Warren. Greensboro ready for it. Now Cody just catching the top of the net, sends it back over. White on the attack. That one off a fingertip of a blocker. Now to Barr, puts it quickly over. Catcher goes down to get it now. McIntosh sends it right back over to the middle. Mayfield to Barr to Carefoot. Catcher keeps it alive. Kept alive now by Warren. Quick push there by White into the net. And that is a point for the Pride. And that will do it for set number one. 25-10 the score in the opening set. Greensboro takes a 1-0 advantage into the break. We will step aside on the Greensboro College Sports Network. Every college athlete has a story to tell, and at Greensboro College, we believe no one is better equipped to tell those stories than the athletes themselves. On the Getting to Know podcast, you'll hear the who, what, when, where, why, and how of each college athlete's journey to Greensboro and how they became a member of the Pride. We talk on and off the field, influences, hobbies, goals, and what it means to be a member of the Pride. It's all on the Getting to Know podcast on Spotify and YouTube.
You know, I just really felt like I was a person, you know, and they really cared about you, not only as like an athlete, but, you know, as an individual as well. And so that was one of the things that like led me here, honestly.
The Getting to Know podcast from Greensboro College Athletics. We are one Pride, and these are our stories. Well, as we get set to begin set number 2 here from Greensboro, some big news to report. SVU wins the first set against Salem 25-14 and now lead the second set 4-0. Remember, Greensboro leads Salem by 2. They lead SVU by 3.5. So could certainly be interesting to see how the standings shake out after today. Greensboro still has to play each of them on the road at Salem on the 28th. So that's, what, next Tuesday? Yeah, next Tuesday. And they will host Southern Virginia on November the 5th, so a couple of Saturdays from now. They defeated Salem 3-0 here earlier this year. They won on the road at SVU 3-1 a couple of weeks ago. That was the 8th of October. So we'll keep you up to date on that one as well. But we get you set here for set number 2 in Haynes Gym. Greensboro hit percentage of .526, minus .071 for Brevard. White sends it over to start the second set to Burson to Templeton. And Shiflett pushes this one over the middle, kept alive by Moon. Now to Boulay, and a quick send over by Tumicki. Now Cody tries to send it over to Catcher, and a diving effort goes unrewarded for Brevard. That was Boulay trying to get to it, and the Pride draw first blood in set number 2. Cody checks out, Mayfield checks out, Klingensmith in, and Anjali Allen in for the first time today as well. Klingensmith sends it across a low liner. Catcher dives and only succeeds in dribbling it in front of her. 2-0 Greensboro. Pride coming off of a 6-set sweep of a weekend tri-match, taking down Pfeiffer and Randolph. Klingensmith sends this over to Catcher to Boulay. And the attack here by Moon kept alive. Klingensmith to Burson. Now Shiflett sends this one high into the back corner, but Catcher there. Now to Boulay. Back to Moon. Pushes this one. Klingensmith keeps it alive. Punched by Templeton. And Burson just gets it over. Tumicki now tries to put it in the middle. Burson says, I'll send it right back. Touched over at the net now. Anjali Allen sends it to Mayfield. No, it's going to be quickly touched by Valentine. We stay alive. What a great match here that this point turns out to be. It is a point for Brevard. Pushed over there. I think that was Tumicki. Both teams doing a fantastic job keeping that one alive. Actually, that might have been Valentine. We'll get clarification on that in a minute. Catcher's serve into the net, 3-1 Greensboro. And it turns out, don't mind me, it was Izzy Boulay who gets the kill there. 2 points ago. So here comes Templeton on the serve, sends it across, too strong. You can see there Kylie Catcher was kind of in between whether she should make a play on it or not, and wisely decides to let it go, and Brevard pulls to within 1. Head coach Abby Pardee in her 4th season at Brevard. Greensboro's Dan Bozarth in his first. Tell you about him in just a moment. Anjali Allen on the attack, has it sent right back to her. Emma Fontana on the block, and Brevard's tied it at 3. On the serve here, Madison Warren. A liner to Mayfield, now to Templeton. This one pushed over by Rokoff. Getting a finger on it was Moon, and dropping to the floor is the ball, 4-3 Greensboro. Catcher made a diving attempt after the block there by Moon, or the partial deflection. Catcher sends this one across. Now here comes Warren with it. Templeton. Allen tries to push it towards the far boundary. It's going to be too strong to the side. And again, the Tornadoes tie it on at 4 as Anjali Allen a little bit too strong, trying to find some open space. And she does. Unfortunately, it's out of bounds. Caroline Moon with the serve, sends it across to Mayfield. Good up there from Mayfield, now to Templeton. Rokoff looking back corner, too strong. And Brevard takes their first lead of the set, now 5-4. This one a little more back and forth than the opening. Mayfield to Templeton. We'll try things again. Rokov looking back corner. That's going to be kept alive. And too strong there on the attack. McIntosh had to kind of reset. Now an attack from Brooks, and Kelsey Brooks ties it at 5. Klingensmith out, Cody in. Mayfield, who's already got one ace today, looking for another. Low liner, this one goes across to Moon. Pushed over now by Warren. And the attack too strong to the back line, but Young is there. Here comes Brooks looking for another. Kind of missed on that one off the side of her hand. And the attack error by Brooks gives Brevard another 6-5 advantage. Too strong on the serve there. And Greensboro again works it to a tie contest, 6-6. Burson to serve, goes far corner, and little miscommunication there between McIntosh and Catcher. Catcher was the one that ended up hitting it out of bounds, but as soon as she made contact with it, they looked at each other and tried to work through that miscommunication. Greensboro with another narrow 1-point advantage. Burson sends it across to Catcher. High in the air, taken there by Warren, and the push over now to Grace Young. To Templeton. Cody trying to lift it over the first line of defense. She does. Played there by Brevard and now sent over by Moon. Too strong, and Greensboro's lead is 2. Well, for the Pride, after a .526 hit percentage in the opening set, it's in the negatives here in the second set. Still plenty of time to correct it. This one sent over McIntosh, partially blocked by Cody and Brooks, kept alive Templeton, Mayfield. Brooks sends this one to the far side. Catcher keeps it alive. Great job there by Brevard. Free ball sent over there by Warren to Cody to Templeton. Brooks trying to push it over again and kept alive by Warren. And too strong. Pass goes backwards, and Caroline Moon jumps to try to save it, and it's too far out of her reach. 9-6 Greensboro, their largest lead of the second set. Burson now to send it across. And too strong, 9-7. Elsewhere, SVU holding a narrow 10-7 advantage over Salem in the second set. Izzy Boulay, the sophomore, on the serve. A hop, skip, and a jump now over to Burson, to Templeton, to Brooks. Brooks has it partially blocked in front, kept alive by the Tornadoes. Here comes Valentine, and that's going to be a point for the Tornadoes. Greensboro's Brooks got a piece of it, but only succeeded in sending it out of bounds. 9-8 in favor of Brevard. Boulay sends it over to Burson, sends it backwards. Young's got to redirect it forward. She does now to Brooks, who just sends it across to Catcher. To Boulay, sets it, blocked there at the net by Taylor Cody, and Greensboro with a 2-point advantage. Cody's first block of the night. Brooks to serve. Too strong, 10-9. This one much closer than the opening stanza. Lily White on the serve, sends it across, and teams trading service errors as White sends it over the end line, and Greensboro's lead is restored to 2. Greensboro, a little bit of conversation as far as who needs to be subbed in and who needs to serve. Mayfield and Klingensmith working through that with the coaches on the sideline. Klingensmith sends it over. White to Boulay. Valentine's attack hits the net, and Greensboro's lead is 3. Klingensmith sends it across, too strong that time, and it's 12-10. That is the 6th service error for Greensboro. Brevard has committed 4. Serve here by Nettie Stokes. First time we've called her name today, and she commits the service error now. And it's 13-10. Anjali Allen Skylar Rokoff checking in, and Burson coming out. Allen already out there for the Pride. Templeton on the serve. Jalen sends it across to Catcher, to Boulay. Attack there by Moon, kept alive. Templeton to Mayfield. Rokoff now trying to cross the court. She does. Skylar Rokoff finds an opening going across the court, and Greensboro's lead is now 4. Templeton getting a nod from the up ref that we're ready to go. Attack here by Valentine, blocked a little bit out in front. Rokoff goes down to a knee, but only hits it sideways, 14-11. Shiflett and Allen went up to try to get it, redirected it for a moment. Greensboro just talking through that one. That's one of the things I love about this team. There's so much veteran leadership on this team, but even more than that, just everybody is in sync, and when something doesn't quite work out, they talk it over and figure out what the miscommunication was. A service ace there for Brevard. That was Madison Warren. Makes it 14-12. Warren's 10th ace of 2025. Sends this one across to Mayfield. Templeton setting up Shiflett. Shiflett on the attack. Shiflett with the kill, 15-12. And Peyton's going to check out now for Grace Young. Kind of what we expected to see today. Peyton's going to get quite a few spells, as Greensboro's going to be extra careful with her down the stretch. You want to make sure she is as fresh and ready to go for the postseason as you can. Young on the serve to Catcher. Sent over. Here comes the attack by Caroline Moon, and an excellent job looking and finding the near back corner. 15-13. And now Moon on the serve, straight into the heart of the net. 16-13 Greensboro now. Couple substitutions. Allen checks out, so too does Klingensmith. Cody is in. Mayfield is in. Greensboro's lead 16-13. Morgan sends this one across to Catcher. To Warren. Attack there by McIntosh. Partially blocked in front. Kept alive Mayfield. Cody, strong back corner. She finds the back line. Taylor Cody, 17-13 now on her 4th kill of the contest. Mayfield sends it over again. Dropping quickly. Going down to get a Catcher. This one pushed aside and cannot get it over there. Did Lily White. Kind of a last-ditch effort just to try to get it over, and instead hit it into the net, and that will send us to our first timeout of this set. Greensboro leads at 18-13. We'll step aside on the Greensboro College Sports Network. Back at Haynes Gym, second set. Greensboro leading it 18-13. They won the opening set against Brevard, looking to make it 2-0. Still got a little bit of work to do. Mayfield served too strong, 18-14. Elsewhere, Southern Virginia leading Salem 17-14, so pretty close to the situation that we have here. Greensboro is a Southern Virginia fan tonight. Sent across by Fontana to Mayfield, all the way up, almost into the rafters. Templeton to Rokoff just sends it over, sent across now. Moon, now the attack by Tumicki, and it's too strong. It's a Greensboro point, 19-14. Both teams making substitutions. Catcher comes in for Brevard. Burson comes in for the Pride. She will serve. Burson sends it across, looking far boundary. Catcher goes down to get it. Now Warren, and a quick push over there by Moon. Kelsey Brooks having to time it just right, going down to get it again. Warren, Moon sends this one high over to Cody. Cody puts it over to the other side. Catcher now trying to push this one over is to Mickey. Templeton, a quick dump over. Catcher kept alive by White. McIntosh sends it over. It's strong, but Young plays it anyways. Now to Templeton. Brooks leaping, pushing to the far side. White keeps it alive again. Excellent job here by Brevard, pushing it over is Moon. Can this one keep going? Cody pushes it. Now the catcher. Oh goodness, McIntosh now finds the point. Oh my goodness, a long back and forth. This time the point to Elise McIntosh. Good effort there by Burson. Fantastic effort by both sides. And a hard-earned and well-deserved point for the Tornadoes, 19-15. Boulay on the serve. Sends it across now. Burson, a long push. Oh, Templeton ran into the scorer's table. And she got up. All right, that's good. Good. Templeton sacrificing herself, almost going head first into the scorer's table, but she got up very quickly. 19-16, low serve there. Mayfield goes down to get it. Templeton to Brooks, sends it across to Catcher. To Boulay, sends this one high. Valentine, that's rejected. Brooks and Cody, Greensboro score, 20-16. You want to talk about a block with an exclamation mark on it, might be that one. Brooks on the serve, sends it across to White. And into the net it goes. Trying to play it was Boulay. And that's going to be an error on Brevard, 21-16 Greensboro. And another timeout taken by the Tornadoes. Greensboro leading at 21-16, looking to make it 2 sets in a row here against the Tornadoes on the Greensboro College Sports Network. Following the Brevard timeout, getting ready to get things back underway. Greensboro leads at 21-16 in set number 2. So glad you are spending your Wednesday evening with us. So far this year, Greensboro College volleyball has always been much-watched television, or YouTube as it were. Sent across, touching the top of the net there was Shiflett's attack. Now sent back over the other way by Moon. Greensboro keeps it alive. Shiflett looking for another. Hit by Boulay. Now to Catcher. White having to time this one up. Great dive there by Brooks. Mayfield keeps it alive too. Templeton quickly sends it over the head. Jalen Templeton. I don't think was necessarily looking for the point. Greensboro was just trying to get it over, and they get something out of it. 22-16. When you're hot, you're hot. This Greensboro team certainly has everything going their way right now. Burson sends this one over to Boulay to catcher. Now to Valentine, having to time it just right, was a little bit offset. Attacked by Cody in front of catcher. She could only watch it, 23-16. Breckenbauer checks in for Kelsey Brooks. Bar to serve here. Brecken sends it across. Moon to Boulay, and just pushed over by Moon. Now to Burson. Templeton, a quick over. Catcher keeps it alive and sent back over now by Brevard. Cody looking for the kill off of the forearm of catcher. Greensboro 1 point away from taking the second set. Barr sends it over, just catching the top, or just over the top rather. Moon tries to send it over on the third hit from the back of the line. She does. McCown looking to end this one. That one rides the top of the net for a moment. White's attack is blocked, kept alive. Boulay sends this one over to Mickey, who's able to find a little bit of empty space in front of the back line. Breckenbauer dives to get it, cannot get it. 24-17. Brevard is still alive here in set number 2. White on the serve, sends this one across to Mayfield. That one's high to the front of the net, pushed up by Templeton and bumped over by McCown. And a quick hit there by Moon was trying to catch Greensboro off guard and only succeeds in sending it out of bounds. So that will conclude set number 2 as Greensboro takes it 25-17, and they have a 2-0 lead as we step aside here on the Greensboro College Sports Network. Every college athlete has a story to tell, and at Greensboro College, we believe no one is better equipped to tell those stories than the athletes themselves. On the Getting to Know podcast, you'll hear the who, what, when, where, why, and how of each college athlete's journey to Greensboro and how they became a member of the Pride. We talk on and off the field, influences, hobbies, goals, and what it means to be a member of the Pride. It's all on the Getting to Know podcast on Spotify and YouTube.
You know, I just really felt like I was a person, you know, and they really cared about you, not only as like an athlete, but, you know, as an individual as well. And so that was one of the things that like led me here, honestly.
The Getting to Know podcast from Greensboro College Athletics. We are one Pride, and these are our stories. As we get set for the third set here, Greensboro leads it 2-0. Another check-in from Buena Vista. Southern Virginia given a scare by Salem, but they ended up coming away with a 26-24 win in the second set, so they lead the Spirits 2-0 in that one now. Same score here. Greensboro looking to cap off what would be another sweep, a season sweep of Brevard. In fact, the only time that Greensboro has lost more than one set in a match are the two matches, the two matches that they lost this year. A 5-set loss to Lynchburg, a 3-set loss to Bridgewater. Otherwise, all of their victories have either been sweeps or 3-1 decisions. Third set underway. Klingensmith on the serve to White to Boulay. Sent across by Moon, kept alive there by Greensboro. Templeton now to Shiflett. No, that was Del Castillo putting it up. Runs into Shiflett. And Brevard on the board first here to start the third set. Always scary when you have those collisions like that, but fortunately everybody good to go on the Greensboro side. Serve here by Stokes. Tough push there by Templeton and finds the middle of the court. Templeton with the no-look attack, if you will. That was impressive. 1-1 your score. And Jalen now to serve. Sends this one across to Catcher, to Boulay. Moon on the attack. Mayfield probably should have let it go, played it, and it goes into the boxes, 2-1 Brevard. That one looked like it was trending over the back line. Mayfield, though, made a play on it, and Brevard takes the lead. Warren on the serve to the back. Brooks, Templeton, Rokov off of the hand of Moon. Catcher tried to save it, sent it further out of bounds, and again, we're all square at two. Shiflett out and Young in. Grace Young to serve. She's got one ace today. Started to go to the far side, now moves back to the near side. Grace sends it over. White to Warren, sent over there by McIntosh. Rokov sends it back over. Catcher. And there's the attack off the top of the net by Moon. And they're going to say deflected by the front line of Greensboro. 3-2 Brevard. Caroline Moon to serve, sends it over to Young. To Templeton. Greensboro looking to regain a tie. Partially blocked there. Out in front, Skylar Rokov ties it up. Partially blocked out in front by McIntosh and I believe Fontana. And we've got a 3-3 score. Sent over to Catcher. And attack there by Fontana. I think Young almost caught it with one hand. It's going to be a point for Brevard, and they will take a 4-3 lead. Emma Fontana now to serve. Sends it across. Mayfield going down to get it to Templeton. To Cody, has that attack blocked. And a fist pump there. Jackson to Mickey. Ignites the Brevard sidelines. And the Tornadoes have a 2-point advantage here in the third set. Fontana's serve too strong. Grace Young wisely letting it go, and Greensboro pulls to within one. Rokov comes out. Burson checks in. Burson to serve. Greensboro trying to pull this one back even. Sends it across. Catcher hits it backwards. Saved there by Moon and sent over by Warren. To Burson, to Templeton. Across to Brooks, kept alive there by Moon. Allen on the attack, sends it back to Young over the back line. Now Templeton. Again, it's Brooks. A hard attack off of the fingertips of Moon, and Greensboro does indeed tie it back up, this time at 5. I think if Moon had let it go, it would have been close, but I think it would have been out of bounds. Maybe too close to let go, though. Burson sends this one over. Diving for it is Moon, keeping it alive. Now pushed over by Tumicki. Greensboro keeps it alive for a moment. Now a late call by the official, I think saying Cody touched the net. No, I'm going to say Templeton, I think, touched the net. But a late whistle there. Now substitutions coming for Brevard. They lead it 6-5. Boulay sends this one across. Mayfield going down to get it. Templeton setting. Cody on the attack. Sends this one over Moon. Now to Boulay and pushed over to Mickey. Now to Mayfield to Templeton. Set again to Templeton, or to Cody rather. Catcher to Boulay, pushed over by Moon. Brooks keeps it alive on the other side. Templeton, a quick dump over. Catcher keeps it alive now. Now to Allen, all the way across court to Valentine. Partially blocked by Brooks. Now to Mayfield, now to Templeton. Back to Brooks on the attack, trying to go across, and too strong. No, they're going to say it was touched. It was touched by Valentine, and Greensboro ties it at 6. Quite a bit of excitement there for the Pride. And Brooks will serve now, sends it to Moon, to Boulay, to Mickey, has it partially blocked, but further back, Templeton tries over the back again. Sends it over now to Valentine, to Burson. Burson sending it further into the crowd, 6-7 in favor of Brevard now. You've seen the Tornadoes with a couple of these quick hits. Sometimes Greensboro's been ready, sometimes they have not. Allen sends it across, just barely gets over the top of the net. Now to Mayfield, to Templeton. Cody has it partially blocked in off of the fingertips of catcher, and we're again square at 7. Klingensmith in, Del Castillo in, Mayfield and Cody out. Now checking in is Cameron Lineberger for Kelsey Brooks. So all square at 7. Klingensmith sends this one across. Catcher goes down to get it, kept in by Boulay. Attack is hit off of the net by Tumicki. Greensboro with an 8-7 advantage. Klingensmith sends this one across to catcher, to Boulay, and pushed over, kind of a tandem hit. White and Valentine there, not sure who actually touched it. Here's Shiflett on the attack, partially blocked by Valentine, out of bounds, and Greensboro's lead is 2. Shiflett will pick up her 6th kill. Klingensmith on the serve, catching the top of the net, going over. Now to White, kept alive by Boulay and out of bounds as the ball went back to Greensboro's side, but out of bounds, and it's 10-7. If there was an imaginary extension of the net out of bounds, Boulay would have crashed headfirst into it. 10-7, Greensboro leads. Klingensmith sends it over. Hit there by Moon to Boulay. Quick over. Grace dives, cannot get to it. 10-8 Brevard. Klingensmith checks out now. 22 assists for Templeton today. Looking for number 23, sends it to Shiflett. Back corner, Peyton Shiflett, 11-8 Greensboro. That's the thing about Peyton. She can put a lot of heat on the attack, or she can take something off of it and uses her finesse to find an open space on the court, and that's what she did there. Templeton on the serve, the catcher, Boulay on the set. The attack by Moon off of Templeton's hands and out of bounds, 11-9. Brevard playing hard. They will not go away. They came into today's game 6-16, 3-7 in conference, 2-4 on the road this year. Served by Warren. That's strong. Greensboro says to let it go. And wisely so. (12-9). Young on the serve. She moves to the near side. Greensboro working right to left across to White. Set there by Warren, and the attack by Moon. Greensboro keeps it alive. Kelsey Brooks off of the fingertips of the front line now to White. And here's the attack. McIntosh. Brooks keeps it alive to Templeton. Here comes Rokov. Rokov's attack is blocked by Fontana, and it's 12-10. Emma Fontana, her second of the night. Serve here coming from Moon. Templeton. Rokov trying to push it into the middle. Catcher with it. Set up there, White. McIntosh has it blocked out in front, but Greensboro can't do anything else with it. Redirected by Del Castillo and Rokov, but nobody able to clean up the block. 12-11 now. Brevard has cut it down to a single point. White sends it over. Mayfield going down to get it. That was Moon, rather. Quick push there by Brooks to Warren to catcher. White on the attack into the net. 13-11 Greensboro. Cody checking in. And Grace Young as well. Mayfield on the serve. It's strong. Played anyways by White. Now to Moon. Back to White. Blocked in front. Cody and Rokov. 14-11. We'll see who they give it to. They were both there, Cody and Rokov. Timeout taken. We'll clean up that little bit during the break, and we'll tell you how it was officially scored. It is going to be a block for Skylar Rokov as the scoring comes through. Greensboro with a 3-point advantage here in the third set. 14-11 your score on the Greensboro College Sports Network. (14-11) the score. Morgan Mayfield coming out of the timeout, sends it across to White, to Warren. White on the attack, back line, Young plays it. Templeton sending it quickly over. Catcher now to Warren. Attempt there by Fontana. Greensboro keeps it alive. Here comes Mayfield across to Brooks. Brooks too strong on the attack, 14-12. No, I think they've given Greensboro the point there. I think they said it might have been tipped up in front. They did give a tip there, 15-11, so Greensboro extends their lead now to 4. McIntosh sends this one across to Templeton, pushed over by Brooks, looking for the middle. Catcher keeps it alive, going in towards the scorer's table, kept alive again, and a double hit there, I think, between Moon and Warren. Wouldn't have mattered. It was the third hit and it didn't go over. 16-11 Greensboro. So the Pride's lead is 5. And Mayfield again to serve. Morgan sends it across. Catcher going down to get it. Warren to White. Young on the other side for the Pride to Templeton. Cody's attack is blocked. Rokov keeps it alive. Templeton. Brooks behind the back keeps that one alive. Catcher, there's the attack by Fontana. Again, Templeton keeps it alive. Mayfield quickly tries to push it over into the middle, kept alive by the Tornadoes. McIntosh on the attack. Mayfield plays that one. Templeton dives, cannot get to it. It's a point for Brevard. We've seen some very lengthy volleys today. Most of the longer stretches have ultimately gone to the Tornadoes today, but they have certainly been entertaining. Fontana on the serve, over the top of the net, kept alive there by Young. To Templeton, to Rokov on the attack, partially blocked out in front. Now to Warren, to Moon, setting it up for McIntosh, sends it over across to Brooks. Here's Templeton, back to Rokov. Rokov tries to go into the middle. Warren's going to play. Fontana over to McIntosh, who smacks it into the net. Actually, that was White, on the near side, smacks it into the net, 17-12 Pride. Southern Virginia and Salem all square at 15 in Buena Vista. That's the third set. Knights lead at 2-0 there. Burson is checked in. She will serve here for Greensboro. Working far side, sends it across to catcher, to Warren. Quickly pushed over by Tumicki, and a great job by Burson. Now Brooks sends it across for Greensboro, and that one off of the net. Not quite off of the net, actually. It was Warren who ended up hitting it backwards, and White going to get it. Could not do so before it falls out of bounds, and Greensboro leads it now 18-12. Burson spinning it in the left hand, now sends it across to Moon. Warren, McIntosh blocked at the net, and it's a point Greensboro. Kelsey Brooks. 19-12 Pride. And Burson on the serve, sends it across to White, to Warren, back to White. Quickly pushes that one in, and too far out of bounds. Greensboro, the recipient of an error there by White, just getting it over the front line of defense, but too far over the line. Greensboro leads at 20-12, and Brevard will take a timeout here on the Greensboro College Sports Network. Well, another record we are watching here for Greensboro today. Head coach Dan Bozarth could become the quickest in Greensboro College head coach volleyball head coach history, quickest to 20 victories. This is his 22nd match for Greensboro. The current record is held by, of course, the legendary Jean Loico, 26 matches to score her 20th victory as a head coach. So Coach Bozarth looking to perhaps add his name into that category in the record books this year. Checking out is Burson, checking out is Templeton. In is Barr, in is Carefoot. 20-12 your score. And Baxley sends it across. Here's the attack. McIntosh off the top of the net. Mayfield keeps it alive to Baxley. Now to Brooks on the attack. Has it blocked. And it's going to be a point for Brevard. McIntosh got a piece of it. I think maybe so too did Tumicki. It's 20-13. Serve coming across here near side to Boulay. You know, one of the things that's kind of caught my attention today, and absolutely no bearing on the game whatsoever, Boulay sends this one across too strong, 21-13. Is that out of bounds right behind what is currently Brevard's side of the court is an iPad set up, and I'm impressed to see that it hasn't been hit yet, because normally when there's a piece of technology and the ball in general proximity to each other, the ball always finds said technology. I'll give you, for instance, here in a moment, but first, Lineberger on the serve, sends it across to catcher Boulay, keeps it alive to White on the attack, to the back line, Lineberger to Baxley. Cody tries to push it over, partially blocked, stays on the Greensboro side. Cantley McCown sends it across now to the back line of the Tornadoes. Attacked by White, too strong, and it's 22-13. I'm reminded of a game last year, Greensboro College baseball, where the pitchers had set up a iPad behind the backstop, and there was a wild pitch that got back, skipped up and kicked up, and hit the iPad and shattered it. Here comes the attack by Mickey. Cody hits that one off of the net, and Mayfield sends it over, keeps it alive. Here comes Valentine on the attack, back line, Lineberger to Baxley, across to McCown. McCown sends it across. Contact there as Moon and catcher run into each other. Ball goes out of bounds, and Greensboro now leads it by 10, 23-13. So the Pride, 2 points away from a 15th consecutive win. This one sent over the back line by Moon to catcher. White sends it back over. Cody to Baxley. Cody on the attack. That's blocked in front by Jackson Mickey again to the back line, and a point for Brevard. Mickey today with her second block. And Brevard cuts it to 9. Here comes White, sends it across to Mayfield, to Baxley. Carefoot on the attack, too strong, 23-15. Southern Virginia has just regained the lead against Salem, 20-19 in the third set. They are also looking for a 3-set sweep this evening. White on the serve for the Tornadoes, sends it across to Mayfield, to Baxley. McCown on the quick push to Mickey, sends it right back now to Lineberger. Baxley, catcher Valentine off the top of the net. Mayfield there to play it. Baxley again. Here comes Carefoot looking for another. Sends this one over off of the fingertips of catcher. It went to Boulay, then to catcher, who couldn't quite send it the direction she was looking for. And Greensboro now 1 point away from yet another conference sweep. Charlotte Michaels checking in now for the Pride. Taylor Cody comes out. Michaels to serve. Well, the official having a quick word with head coach Dan Bozarth. And they may have to, yeah, I think they're going to have to bring Charlotte back out. Yeah, so Michaels comes out. Cody is now going to have to come in and serve. And I think some questions now on the Brevard side as far as the substitution is concerned, but everything seems to be sorted out, and we're ready to go. Greensboro looking for one final point. Cody sends it across to catcher, to Boulay. There's the attack by Moon. That's sent right back by Del Castillo. Here comes another attack. Valentine pushes it into the middle, taken there by Lineberger. Now to Baxley. Attack McCown. Win Greensboro. 25-15 the score in the third set, and Greensboro picks up their 15th win in succession. And Coach Dan Bozarth, the quickest to 20 victories as a head coach at Greensboro College. So a big win for the Pride, and obviously as we continue to keep an eye on what is going on in Buena Vista, Greensboro certainly could even see an increase in their lead in USA South competition. Was 2 games coming into today. Could be as much as 3, depending on what happens at the remainder of Salem and Southern Virginia. We'll grab a couple of players here for our post-game interview, get a couple of their thoughts as the Pride run that winning streak we mentioned up to 15 games yet again, talking about how important it has been for them to string them together. And I think, again, the cool thing that we have heard from Greensboro this year is the fact they said, look, the records and stuff are cool, I guess, but we'll worry about that after the season. Right now we have to worry about winning the game. So a couple of players coming over. We'll have a quick talk to them. Getting all the tech all squared away. And first off, we've got Grace Klingensmith. Grace, can you hear me?
I can.
Fantastic. Awesome. Well, a big game for you guys again today. And Grace, looking at your numbers here, 3 aces for you. And just talk me through it. 15 straight wins for you guys. That's remarkable.
Yeah, we've just been working really hard in practice every day. And, you know, we're trying new things, and we're just working well as a team.
One of the cool things, I think, for me is the fact that it's not any one person, it's anybody on any given night that can come through and put together a big game. As your head coach, they are giving you the bunny ears there for a moment. But just talk a little bit about the confidence you guys have in each other to get it done.
I think it goes on how we work in practice, but also off the court. We have a really great team chemistry, and so that just going into practice, we have fun. You know, we have a good balance of like having fun, but also being competitive with each other, which really helps when we push each other every day.
Well, we're keeping an eye on what else is going on in the conference right now. And Southern Virginia just defeated Salem, so your lead over Salem is now 3 games, so a little bit of a cushion there. But job's not done for you guys. Talk about the focus going forward.
You know, we always focus on the game that we have ahead, so now we're just going to focus on Mary Baldwin, and we're going to work hard every single day and just take it step by step.
Well, Grace, thank you so much. Go enjoy that win.
Thank you.
And we've got Taylor Cody coming up here, so we won't quite jump into the numbers yet. Hey, Taylor, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Fantastic. Congratulations on the win today. 7 kills for you, 3 blocks. Talk a little bit about your evening.
Yeah, so we did very well. Is this live?
Yeah.
Okay. Shoot. Okay.
You're fine. Hey, it's all good.
Wait. Can we restart?
Mm-hmm. All right, Taylor, we will restart here for you. Let's go ahead and just talk a little bit about your day. You had 7 kills, you had 3 blocks, and a big win for you guys. Talk about your evening.
Yeah, so we did very well. At the start of the game,
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Here, does that do anything for you? Is that audio better for you?
Yeah, that's
okay,
good.
Great.
Yeah.
Sorry about the technical
No,
difficulties.
you're good.
That's our fault up here. But yeah, we'll restart that question. Taylor, tell us a little bit about your night.
Yeah, so at the beginning, you know, we came out. We were a little down at the start, but I think we started talking more and communicating, and we played very well. I feel like my blocks were pretty good and my kills, and yeah.
You've been here for quite a while. You're one of the veterans on this team, but talk about the 15-game winning streak. That's something that hasn't been done here in 20 years, and how does that feel to be a part of that?
It feels awesome. This is something I've been working towards, and the team has been working towards for the past 4 years, and just being here right now and trying to go after that ring is just an amazing feeling. And I'm excited for the rest of the season, and I think if we continue this, we can get a ring.
I was telling Grace just a moment ago, just went final in Southern Virginia. The Knights just defeated Salem, so your lead in the conference is now 3 games. You still play both of those teams one more time. Talk a little bit about the focus going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Salem and SVU are very, very 2 good teams. Those are, I would say, our toughest competition, but I think if we use our past games and what we're learning from that and just move forward and keep working as a team, I think we can finish strong in this. So,
well, Taylor, thank you so much.
Oh, you're
Congratulations on the win. Go celebrate.
Thank you.
That was Taylor Cody and Grace Klingensmith as Greensboro takes down Brevard, but 3 sets to none in this contest. Scores 25-10, 25-17, and 25-15. Taking a look at some of the final numbers here. Excuse me. In terms of team numbers, 21 attack errors for Brevard, 11 for Greensboro. Brevard a hit percentage exactly 0. Greensboro 0.258. In terms of aces, 3 for the Tornadoes, 7 for the Pride. Assists go 31 to Greensboro, 21 for Brevard, 52 Diggs for the Pride, and 40 for the Tornadoes. Individual leaders for Brevard, leaders in kills, 7 for Moon and 4 for McIntosh. Assist leader Boulay had 10 and 7 for Warren. 1 ace apiece for Fontana, Boulay, and Warren. Diggs leader was Moon with 8. Warren had 6, and White had 5. For Greensboro, leader in kills tonight was Taylor Cody and Peyton Shiflett, 7 apiece. 6 kills for Kelsey Brooks, 5 for Skylar Rokov, 3 for Cantley McCown, 2 for Carla Del Castillo and Jalen Templeton, and 1 each for Barr and Carefoot. Leading assister, if you will, tonight, Templeton with 23, 5 for Mayfield, and 3 for Baxley. Aces, 3 for Klingensmith, 1 each for Burson, Young, Brooks, and Mayfield. Leader in Diggs was again Morgan Mayfield with 14. 9 for Brooks, 8 for Templeton, 7 for Young, 4 for Burson, 2 for Baxley, and 4 for Lineberger as well. 2 for Klingensmith, and 1 each for Barr and Shiflett. So for Greensboro, as far as what's coming up next for the Pride, they will head on the road Saturday to take on Mary Baldwin, and also continue the road trip next week on the road at Salem before returning home for a tri-match on November the 1st. So last time that we will see the Pride here in the month of October, but they leave Haynes Gym with a comfortable 3-game advantage in the USA South. Again, one final time, Southern Virginia fell to Salem, the other way around. Southern Virginia defeated Salem in their matchup today, so SVU will help Greensboro a little bit in that case. The Pride have a 3-game advantage on the Spirits, 3.5 on Southern Virginia. Elsewhere, earlier today, Mary Baldwin took down William Peace in the opening the opening match. They have a doubleheader today. William Peace has taken the first set of match number 2. Elsewhere, Meredith and Pfeiffer in Meisenheimer. And that one right now in the third set, Meredith just dropped the third set, so Pfeiffer stays alive. Meredith, though, leads it 2 sets to 1. And the final match tonight, North Carolina Wesleyan and Methodist. That one in the first set, and they are square at 16. So, again, no more volleyball here on the Greensboro College Sports Network until the 1st of November, but that doesn't mean that we won't be talking to you until then. A busy weekend coming up here on the Greensboro College Sports Network. We've got a triple header, if you will, on Saturday. Women's soccer against North Carolina Wesleyan at 11:30. Men's soccer against North Carolina Wesleyan at 2. Both men's and women's soccer with an opportunity to clinch a postseason berth on a Saturday. And then football with the first ever night football game in the history of Pride Field, a 6 o'clock kickoff against Brevard. It is homecoming weekend. It is a busy weekend, and we hope you will spend some of your Saturday with us. But that'll wrap everything up here on this Wednesday afternoon. Again, Greensboro runs the winning streak to 15 consecutive games with a 3-0 victory over Brevard. A big thank you to our Director of Sports Information, Stephen Weidenhouse. My producer tonight was Marion Manley. And a big thank you to all of our game day staff for everything they do in making these contests possible. I'm Kendrick Fruits, wishing you a green and white good night. This has been a presentation of Greensboro